create really good website content to drive traffic. So here are a bunch of examples I've put up on the screen that are some of the points that I'd like to make about this. First of all here, okay, great headlines. When you've got blog posts, for example, please do not fall into the habit of titling it, "Here's our monthly blog post again," or something like that. I've really not seen that on a blog. I've seen it on other things like newsletters and subject lines and that sort of stuff. Not on a blog. Get really creative and thought-provoking with people so that when they see that posted somewhere, they're like, "Oh, what is that? I got to go find that." And there's some great tools out there. There's a site where you can actually, you can just Google for this because I can't think of what it is right now. But you can go in and put like some of the words you want in a headline, and it will give you a whole bunch of great examples of what you can use, so that you've got creative uses of that. Headline, we'll just do a Google search for headline generator. So that's one. Number two here in the middle. If I was looking for, some Nike shoes, the main search for that would be probably Nike shoes, or Nike maybe. No. Google, when you go in and put the search term in, it drops a whole bunch of other terms right around that. Have you seen that when you start typing something in? This is your marketing cheat sheet. This is telling you what they call long tail keywords. In other words, phrases that are more specific than the original. So in my case, marketing would be the main keyword that everybody wants to get ranked for on a search. But a small subset of that would be, using Facebook ads to market your business. Be a long tail word. So you need to be thinking about how you can incorporate more of these sorts of terms. For Aaron, including, because I'm assuming you guys are pretty much in the area, right? You don't go much beyond that. At least you're not trying to attract a ton of business beyond that. So one of your long tail strategies as you're doing stuff should be to include Indianapolis or the communities you want to be found in with all of that. That's really important. Research what those phrases are. Find out if people are actually searching for them, and then implement them into your content so that the search engines will see that and will return you with the results. Then the next thing you need to think about is actually optimizing your page on your site the right way. And we're not going to dig into that right now, but that's a really good example of what a perfectly optimized page looks like. The way the heading is put together, right? The fact that there's an image and that you have what's called an alt tag on your image. That is keyword focus that you want people to find. Because when it's done right, and I'm a WordPress guy, I don't know how many of you have WordPress websites, but that's what I do exclusively. And I've collected a set of tools that I believe are the best out there for this. And there's a tool that I use called Squirrely that you install it on the site. It optimizes the site. I've got some clients who've had great results in very short time of improving their rankings. But the cool thing is on the side, when you post some content, it allows you to pick a keyword and it gives you feedback on how well you're doing. That's key. Because you want the search engines to look at this and say, oh, this is about such and such. Not scratch their head, if they had a head, and go, we have no idea what this page is about. We're going on, sort of thing. So optimize your page well is another part of great content. And then here I would suggest to you that you need to publish regularly. Once every 6 months. Look, I'll say, I really would recommend you publishing at least once a week. That's a stretch for some of you, I get that. So minimum goal should be twice a month. But if you can go weekly, that would be best. Why? Because it's fresh content on your site. It's more ways for the search engines to share our content, and then more importantly, there's more new stuff for you to get other people to come in and read and spend time on your site. So that's an important part of the strategy. Then some other things here. This is something that I think is key. Don't just share your content once on social media. I've seen it done all the time. I spent like 3 days on this blog post. I finally got it ready. I push it live, and then when it goes live, I go to Facebook and I share it, and then that's it. And then you go, man, why have only 3 people come to see this? I spent weeks on this. This is like my heart and soul. You've got to increase the frequency. And so this is actually a literal example that I use. There's a product called CoSchedule that I use for this. And it allows you to set the one blog post up on your site and share it multiple times in advance. Basically, like you go in and set up a post, at the bottom, it gives you the opportunity to set it up. It takes about an extra 3 to 5 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. And now you've got that blog post going out for months on social media instead of one time. And so this is an example that CoSchedule recommends. So if you're on Twitter, then you publish it immediately on Twitter. The same day, 2 hours later, you post it again. Just as a reminder, if you haven't thought of it this way, social media is like a stream of water running down the middle of the room here. You throw your post out, boom, and it's on down the path quickly. Most people won't see that unless you keep putting it back into the stream. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's no issue with that. There's no problem with that. I've done this many years, and I've never had anybody come back and say, hey, I saw that 21 days ago. What are you doing out there? Nobody's looking at that. It's about frequency, and this is a model for frequency.
Wouldn't that be just like a radio ad?
It would be, yeah.
You don't do a radio ad just once,
yeah.
You do it every hour on the hour.
Yeah. Well, you know, and Derek and I met many years ago when I was a publisher of a community newspaper here in Plainfield and some other communities called Coffee News. And when I did that paper, I started that in 2006, I ran it in 2011. The one thing I learned that I take from that I carry with me today more than anything else, because that was print, and I'm in a more digital space now, is frequency. A bad ad, a horrible ad, a picture of a monkey and a phone number will work if you show it enough. Then this cool ad that you spent thousands of dollars creating and you show it one time. Frequency is vital to all of this. And so when you create good content, add the frequency. And so CoSchedule gives great examples of how frequently to post it. But I usually go in and I set up my content to post for 2 months. And then I'll go back and I'll look at my most popular pieces, and then I'll go back and share them again on a regular basis. Because that visibility will make all the difference in the world. All right. The next one up there is this one here, internal linking. People don't link to other content on their website enough. So you've got an article on something in particular here, and then you reference another article that you've got on your site in that article, and you just link over to it. Why is that important? A, it keeps people on your site longer time. B, it tells the search engines that you have internal relevance, and that's really important. And the payoff for that these sort of things is you're going to get more visibility, and with more visibility, you're going to get more traffic. Okay, sharing, social sharing buttons on your website. So you produce great content, and somebody looks at that and says, wow, this is really good. I'd like to tell people about it. Well, it's a pain to go up and now click the URL, go over and open up Facebook, go to my profile, paste in the URL and add my comment and all that sort of thing. Guess what? People won't do that. But they probably would be more likely to click a button and up pops a box pre-populated and ready to go. Add a comment or just hit share. Done. So that's another way. Because what are you doing? You're taking your content where you are, you're sending it out, and you're asking other people to share it with people they're in touch with, which now increases your visibility and increases the likelihood of traffic. And then, last thing, recycle your content. Look, if you've got horrible blog posts on your website, go back and make them better, and then update them and put them in the latest post. If you've got really good content on your site, make alternate versions of it. So if it's a written text piece, maybe turn it into an infographic. Like Jennifer, I can see some great infographics in your line of business, When you're talking about cruises and different things like that, there's probably a lot of misconceptions. And if you could visually paint the picture for people about, here's the types of cruises that are out there. Here's things not to do on a cruise. Instead of just a list of words, you could actually have a visual picture. But you could use video. You could create a list post out where you go out and you find a bunch of others who have got great content on that, and you share those as part of what you're doing. You can go out and find social media quotes, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and embed that in that. You're relivening that content. And then what do? You share it out again with this as fresh stuff. Sometimes simply changing the title of the piece reinvigorates it. So there's a lot of different ways that you can take your content and build it out more so that it drives new people to what you have. Any questions on that? There's a ton in that one. All right. Third idea for you is host a webinar. How many of you do that? Anybody do that right now? Okay, Chris does it. Is it a regular thing, Chris, or just something you do occasionally?
Occasionally right now, but starting up with a client, basically. They're starting up.
Yep. And it can be really easy to accomplish today. It doesn't have to be difficult with all of it. The prep work is the biggest piece of the challenge. And again, this won't fit for some of your business models. I totally get that. But for others it will with all of that. So here are 2 tools that I recommend. The good thing about these tools is they also have a lot of resources on their websites that will help you in building out a webinar if you choose to do it. Demio is the one that I actually have both of these, but probably my preference is the Demio right now because you've got so many cool things you can do with it. And at any time during the presentation on a panel to the side, you can have a call to action up that invites them to go over to your website to take the next step. You can also get everybody who signs up for the webinar to add to your email list to continue to follow up with all that. And people love content. What's the biggest problem with webinars today? What's the biggest issue with webinars? Yeah. Like, sign up and show up is probably 25%, 30% in some cases. It can be higher than that, but people don't show up with things. So how do you mitigate that? Offer replays. So Demio and Webinar Ninja allow you to set it up so that if you missed it, you'll get a replay in your email, so you can still share it that way, and people can maybe move through it at their own time. Maybe keeping them short, I don't see many people do this, but if you would offer a webinar and say, hey, we're going to go 20 minutes max. Have a few minutes for questions, but if you don't have any questions, you can dive off after that. Maybe that's a way to mitigate that. But obviously you need people to show up. Another cool strategy with webinars is to create the original. Both of these offer this, and then have an on-demand replay available. So you create a great webinar, you love it, it does good, you communicate well. You post on your site that they can go sign up and watch the webinar at any time they want. At 2 o'clock in the morning and they're cruising the internet and they come across your site and they want to attend the webinar, why wait till next Wednesday at 1 when I can watch it right now? And I might be more willing to take the next step. So there's lots of ways you can use that, but again, not for everybody. All right. then the next option here, post a giveaway. Anybody done that? You know, again, some models works good, others does not work as well. But here are some products that I use for that, that really help you walk through it. I've used Gleam quite a lot. That's Gleam over here on the left. And the cool thing is basically the way you get more entries is you perform actions. So if you want to get people more engaged, so this one, you get an entry if you answer the question. You get another entry if you visit the Facebook page. You get another entry if you visit a blog post on their website. You get another one if you follow them on Twitter, and so on. And so instead of one entry, you're giving people multiple ways to engage. And more importantly, what you're doing is you're also incentivizing them to share it. Because let's face it, if you're doing a contest and only 3 people come and I'm one of the 3, my gut feeling would be, I don't want to tell anybody else because I want to win this for myself. But if you incentivize, so one of the ways I've done that is, we'll give you 5 entries for each person you invite. Hello, I'm a winner on that game, so I'm going to go out and invite a bunch of people. So it becomes a way to drive more people. You can also get people to sign up for your email list that way. Yeah.
What do people usually give away with those?
Depends. It's got to be something that your target audience sees as valuable. And you've got to justify it in your mind as well. So if it's something you already offer for free, don't put that as a giveaway. If it's something that's going to cost you a whole bunch to deliver, you might do that, but if you did that, you'd want to do a really big deal with it, not just some small little offering. I would say high perceived value, low cost or commitment on your part. Is how I try to sort of like weave that together as we think about that. So I've had, I did it for a pharmacy, and we got them to connect with other business relationships that they had, and together they put like a $500 prize pack together. It cost the pharmacy less than $50 with what they put into the mix, and then everybody got exposure with all of that. That was a really good prize pack for something like that. And they got a whole bunch of new people and exposure because, again, people were sharing it out and that sort of thing. So that's the key, is to sort of find that middle ground. But don't go too wimpy on it, or nobody will care.
That's the challenge.
You know, if Aaron was going to offer a whole house repaint sort of thing, that's a huge commitment. But there's probably a good middle ground with all that actually could be a lead generator for someone to say, you know, hey, we'll do 2 rooms for you, in 2 rooms, and then if you want more, we'll offer a special deal for the winner for this or something like that. You know, lots of thought to go into the process there. But that is the challenge. You've got to think about the target audience. What do they want? And then try to match that with what you have to offer in a way that makes the most sense. So for some people who have knowledge as their resource, they're offering a book, a free book, maybe, as a giveaway, or a book pack. Their book plus 5 other authors that they love. Things like that. There are 4 tools to use for this that I love. Amazon is doing this. I don't know if you see this. If you're on Amazon, you're probably getting an email every day. You're probably ignoring it. But Amazon is doing giveaways every day. Companies go on there and create giveaways. So in this case, they might be giving away a projector. But what they're wanting to do is actually get you in their world so they can be marketing to you about buying a projector. In fact, the way Amazon works is if you push the button, it tells you immediately if you won the giveaway, which ironically in about 100 attempts not yet to win anything. A little suspicious, but and then it offers me a deal for that very product. So it's another way to do it. But Raffle Pop is great, and King Sumo is great as well, as ways to do a giveaway with that. The one thing I will say on it, keep the time frame really short, like a couple of weeks, really tight sort of thing. One cool idea that a number of us had at one point that never ended up seeing the light of day because there was too many cooks in the kitchen, but was for a number of companies who had like complementary products to get together and offer this huge like business makeover, marketing, financial, graphics, web, all sorts of different people like that getting together, putting in like part of their time and then offering this to generate new business leads was the whole idea. They had a business attorney and all of that in the process. That was a big deal, and that would be the sort of thing I would probably spend money promoting on Facebook to get people to join in. If you're a new business, you're just getting started, you want a real shot in the arm to get your business going, join our giveaway. And then the upside of that was a whole database of people to market the services to and the various people that are. It's just a great way. And again, you've got to, in that strategy, you've got to get people to go from wherever they're entering the contest over to your website. That's the key part of that to drive the